Domain expansion!
Main expansion.
Domain expansion!
領域展開。領域展開。
領域展開 Domain expansion!
領域展開。
領域展開 Domain expansion.
Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorite anime and mangas of all time, like arguably my favorite. And there's a lot that goes into that. I think they have some of the best characters, some of the best fight scenes, especially the fight scenes, and a very unique power system. Especially talking about cursed energy and the apex of that. Today we'll be talking about domain expansions. And if you don't know what a domain expansion is, think of it as your ultimate technique. Like if you have a technique, the apex of it. And JJK does a good job of showing what a domain expansion is, but I do think they missed the mark just a little bit. I feel like we get a taste of domain expansions, but we don't really capitalize on everything a domain can be. So that's what I'm here to do today. But I'm not going to limit it to just JJK characters who have domain expansions. I want to expand that reach to other characters, whether it be artists, musicians, singers, heck, even other anime characters. So join me as I introduce you to episode 1 of What If Blank Had a Domain Expansion. I think it's only right to start episode 1 with the godfather of shonen anime. So, without further ado, you know him, you love him. Introducing Son Goku, Domain Expansion, Wrath of the Dragon. How I picture Wrath of the Dragon would be King Kai's planet, but a bunch of every variation of Shenron orbiting around the planet with a giant spirit bomb in the back. In order to activate Wrath of the Dragon, Goku would have to do the instant transmission hand sign while holding his opponent. While under the effects of Wrath of the Dragon, both targets will be transported to King Kai's planet with their energy completely replenished. Think of when Goku gave Cell the Senzu Bean. Now we all know that Goku loves a fight. So the point of this ability would to be allow him to prolong a fight. Considering he's stronger than most matchups, it'll turn the bout into a bout of, well, can he beat Goku though? Funny part about this, I see Goku using this domain in every single fight or situation that he can, just off the strength that he gets a better fight and enjoy himself. I even see this domain having a lot of utility because theoretically he could use this as a supportive technique and heal himself or an ally he decides to use his domain on, and giving him a chance to fight again. And I feel like a domain like this is fitting for a character like Goku because we know he loves to fight, and arguably the Spirit Bomb is his ultimate technique. I think the possibilities are pretty endless. But with all that being said, I think it's time to move on to our next character. One who many say might actually be stronger than Goku. I don't think so, but okay, bear with me because this might get a little confusing. But the way I see Saitama activating his domain is, well, that's the thing. I don't think he'll know that his domain is active. It'll just happen in the middle of a fight. So after he punches somebody and they survive, then the domain activates. So him and his target would both be transported to his house with everything seemingly normal. The only difference being is the opponent would be getting stronger and stronger. They'll notice that they'll be moving faster, hitting harder, and reacting faster, which might confuse them, but Saitama wouldn't notice the difference. And that's the fun of finally a fight, because to the opponent it feels like they're actually standing a chance, and just when they feel like they're just about to win, they'll still lose in one punch. So that way Saitama gets his fight but still is the One Punch Man. And I think it's fitting for Saitama because, one, he gets a fight, but he's considered a gag character to a lot, so it wouldn't ruin the gag and making Saitama think that he has a fight. But the irony is he'll never get the fight he wants. Now with two iconic anime characters down, I think it's time to move on to the last, and arguably the most entertaining. I want to have a little bit of fun with this last pick. Last but certainly not least, the anime character that everyone loves or loves to hate. That's right, Monkey D. Luffy. Domain expansion. All in one piece. So we all know Luffy is free as a bird, does what he wants, and most importantly, he's the rubber man. So I'm going to implement that into his domain. Now bear with me as I use a little bit of creative liberties, and also major One Piece spoilers, by the way, so you've been warned. Get out of here. Now that they're gone, in order to activate All in One Piece, Luffy would have to bang on his chest over and over again, doing the Gear 5 ritual with Haki exploding everywhere. Hearing the drums of liberation, the opponent would notice that something is changing. But then they'll notice that the area around them is normal. Nothing physically changes. And that's when All in One Piece begins, because as they move to attack Luffy, they'll notice that they lose their footing. The ground beneath them is rubber. And if they somehow muster the courage or muster the ability to attack, they'll notice that their attacks turn into rubber. So now they are the Pirate King's plaything, and this is his playground. And during this, Luffy is able to manipulate everything around him. So he's fighting at the peak of his ability while you're at a severe disadvantage trying to fight back. You will be a victim of Gear 5's imagination as he'll bombard you with rubber techniques in which you are ultimately defenseless when trying to counter. And you may be asking yourself, Filler, did you just make Gear 5 a domain and that's it? Well, yes. It's my video, I do what I want. And after discussing those three anime characters, that brings this episode of What If Blank had a domain expansion to a close. Did you like the domain expansion? Did you hate them? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you have any edits or critiques or even your own custom domain expansions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. I might steal them for my next video. With all that being said, you don't have to pay too much attention because remember, this is a filler episode.